Gripsters and random YouTubers. Evan here for Grips.com, continuing with the Game Changer series, where I share with you the most powerful ideas that have changed the game for me. And despite the fact that they may seem little and simple, they lead to making a big difference and having a huge impact. These are the ideas that I applied in February of this year to get the biggest score of my career, $162,000 win at the Falls View Poker Classic. And today's game changer, the game changer we're going to talk about today, is the power of table image, creating a strong table image in the live realm so that you can just project power and make the game a lot more easier. So first I'm going to talk about the 3 benefits of having, a really good table image and dressing for success, dressing to impress, dressing for the occasion. The first of the 3 things is that when you have an outfit that you wear specifically for poker, it automatically gets you into state. It automatically gets you in the zone, ready to play poker. And for me, I actually have, a custom sweatsuit. I got this black kind of velour suit because that's a material that I always liked. It's really soft, it's really comfortable. And I also have the matching pants to go with it because I just want to be as comfortable as possible when I'm playing poker. In addition to that, I kind of took it to the next level because I know that it's long hours and you're sitting there with your arms on the table. So I actually have padding installed into this jumpsuit so that, I could rest my arms and take less pressure on my body. So I have this outfit that I pretty much only wear when I'm playing poker. So when I put this on, my body, my mind knows, okay, it's time to get in the zone, it's time to play poker, this is what we're doing today. I'm communicating a message to myself that automatically gets me in the zone and gets me more likely to bring my A game for the day. Now, obviously, having clean clothes is important. We're gonna feel a lot better when we're wearing clean clothes than when we're wearing old, dirty clothes. So, I change the t-shirt every day, I change the undies every day, I change the socks every day, because these little things make a big difference. When you're feeling clean, you're feeling fresh, that's when you're probably gonna play your best. When you just rolled out of bed, you didn't shower, and you just grabbed whatever you had and threw it on, you're just not gonna bring the same level of play with you. So some of you may be wondering, peaking, what's the story? Well, for that tournament, this is what I wore on day 3. Because on day 3, I decided, I'm gonna have a peak experience today. This is gonna be one of the highest highs I've ever had in my life. And I wanna dress for the occasion. So that's why I rocked my Run It Up peaking shirt. For day 2, I was rocking my Grips Get Stacking t-shirt. And for day 1, I was rocking my 99 Problems Stacking Chips Ain't One shirt. Because for the first day, I'm like, whatever's going on in the world, it's all good. Because all I gotta do today is play poker. And I got no problem stacking them chips. For the second day, I was just like, yeah, we're getting stacking. We're getting stacking. I'm Grips, represent. And then for day 3, for that final tail, I'm just like, this is the peak. We made it to the top, and I want to reflect that in my apparel. The other pieces that I add to my outfit, because this is just the start, a few special power pieces, which I'm going to share with you guys now. I'm not saying you guys need to get the same power pieces, but it's helpful to have a few extra things that are just like, yeah, I'm definitely in my zone. I'm definitely in my zone. I'm definitely in my zone. All right, so the first one, this is funny. This is a little embarrassing, but hey, I'm happy to be real with you guys. So whatever, here it is. The first one is my Money Power hat. I bought this hat at a Hasty Market back in 2006 or 2007 for $15. Just because I thought it was absolutely hilarious that this thing's just money power and it's got a bunch of dollar bills on it and it's ridiculous. And I remember bringing it to the World Series of Poker because back then my strategy was to play a very tight game, a really nitty game where I'd always show up with the goods. But I'm just skinny little white kid, unassuming guy, doesn't really project the image of someone who's going to be splashy. So obviously when people sat with me and played, they would assume, okay, this guy's tight. I'm not going to give him any action. So, how did I shift that? Well, I had to project something different than what I was actually playing, and that's why I rock this hat. You know what I'm saying? I rock this hat because I just wanted to look like, you know, some rich drug dealer or something. You know, just showed up to play some 5-10, 10-20, side event, main event, whatever, and have people think, oh, this guy's just some splasher, he's just some action player, he probably doesn't know what he's doing, and therefore I could get more action and get paid more easily despite playing a really tight game. The second piece that I added to my apparel, I mean, this is just classic from way back in the day when we first started watching poker, you know, everyone's rocking shades, is the sunglasses. And I made sure also that this was a rather expensive pair of sunglasses. Obviously the hat's cheap, but I wanted to have some expensive jewelry to kind of further that image. Okay, this guy's just some rich dude who's, you know, rocking the bling and must just be into some shady things. Now the benefits of sunglasses are a couple of things, and there are also some shortfalls, which I'm happy to mention in this video. The first benefit of the sunglasses is when someone's staring you down, you know, someone's giving you the Mike McDonald or the Fedor Holtz. You don't have to deal with that shit, because you're not like, oh, do I have to stare at them back and see who breaks eye contact first, or do I feel weaker for looking away? No, you just put your shield up. You just be like, dude, what are you looking at? You can't see anything. You're not going to get anything off me. And then you can happily move your eyes around wherever you want, look at whatever you want to look at, and they're not going to know what's going on. Whereas sometimes I find if someone's really staring me down, and I want to deal with it, I'll just stare at one spot on the table. And that's fine, but like, it's not that much fun. It's kind of uncomfortable. The other benefit to wearing sunglasses is to prevent people from getting reads on you and getting tells on you. When the pupils like what they see, when someone likes what they see, the pupils will dilate and get bigger. This is one of the reasons that there's dimmer lighting in nightclubs. This is one of the reasons why people say they want mood lighting, they dim the lights, because the pupils need to get bigger to take in what little bit of light is there, and then people naturally look more attractive. If you like what you see on the flop, I promise you, your eyes are gonna dilate just a little bit. And if you really like what they see, this black part of your eye might cover the whole iris. So having shades to protect that will prevent people from seeing that. The converse is also true when people don't like what they see, the eyes tend to constrict. Same with when there's really bright light, eyes get narrower because, you know, they don't need to take in all that. So I have the sunglasses and I alternate with them. If I feel I'm at a table where a lot of people are trying to get reads and people are trying to pick up a lot of stuff, I'll just throw them up and I'm just like, all right, I'm in my zone, I got my music in, I got my earplugs in, whatever, I got my hat, my shades, no one can get any reads off me. I'm totally protected, you know. Just zip it up and I'm just like, no reads. But on the other hand, if I feel that I can benefit from making that strong eye contact with people, if I feel I'm at, say, a weaker table, which happened a lot in this tournament because the buy-in was a smaller one, as I mentioned, I will go without the shades. And actually, sometimes I'll go without the hat too, just so, you know, I can be a little more intimidating, you know, give people that stare that might just, when they're in a close decision, might push them towards a fold instead of a call. So we got these two. And finally, the last piece of the puzzle is the timepiece. The timepiece. Yeah. It's Breitling here. So I bought this like 10 years ago when I kind of didn't know any better. If I could go back again, I'd probably still buy it, but I don't feel super awesome about spending as much as I did on a watch that I wear once a year. And the reason that I bought this watch was, again, like twofold. First, we just got back from a poker trip, me and my roommate, John, and we noticed that a lot of the good players had nice watches. You know, it was just something that good poker players had. And it kind of communicated like, hey, you know, I've done well at this game, I can afford to buy myself something nice. Or in the case of a tournament, where I used it specifically, it's saying, listen bro, I got 10 times the buy-in for this tournament on my wrist. I don't care what happens in this tournament. The buy-in for this tournament is not important to me. And therefore the fear factor goes up. The intimidation factor goes up because people will assume that you don't care about the buy-in and you're totally fine with busting. I'm at peace with busting, but believe me, I care about losing $1,000 just as much as you do. And it's all just projection. It's all just projection. It's all just creating an image. It's about creating kind of a web, a facade, an allure. So people will assume different things about you than is actually the truth, and then that can work to your favor while you're playing. So this watch, you can see it's rather nice, but it's pretty over the top. It's not my style. So I literally only wear this watch if I'm either playing the World Series of Poker main event or if I'm playing, a tournament around here. I literally only put this watch on when I'm playing poker, and today when I'm teaching poker. And so it's another anchoring technique. It's another automatically get in a state. When I put this on and snap it closed, I know, okay, now is a time that I need to be playing my A game because this watch only comes out for special occasions. So automatically, I'm like, okay, I got this on. It means today I play my best. Today is the day that I don't screw around. So one of the benefits is that it projects an image of indifference to the outcome, which will lead to, more folds from your opponents, more check raises getting through, your barrels working more often, more walks from your opponent, among other things. And also it signals to me, it's time to get serious, it's poker time, get in the zone, whatever else is going on, forget about it, because right now you're dressed to play poker, you're playing poker, that's it. So number one, the first benefit of creating a strong table presence and having something you wear specifically for poker is all about getting into state. It's another way of getting into the zone and communicating to the other people around you that you are in the zone. Which brings me to number two, which is, what you wear, how you dress, says a lot about you. It is your first kind of interaction with the world. So based on what you're wearing, the world is going to react to you differently. People are going to react to you differently. There's a reason why people who are wearing business suits get treated differently than people who are wearing tattered clothes that haven't been washed in a while. It's just the immediate perception is, oh, this guy takes things seriously. Okay, if this guy paid enough attention to the little details to make sure he was dressed appropriately for the occasion, what other little details does he pay attention to? And it kind of automatically projects that you're going to be playing the game at a higher level than someone who just kind of rolled out of bed and didn't have time to, do their hair or whatever. So it's your first opportunity to communicate with the world, to communicate with your opponents. And when I sit down at a poker tournament with a bunch of strangers and it's a battle of who can get everyone else's chips, I want to project the image that, listen, I came here to play. I know exactly what I'm doing. I have clothing specifically for this occasion and nothing else. I'm comfortable. I'm qualified. In fact, I'm overqualified for this tournament because, I already have experience in the past. That is the message that I want to give out. In the past, the message was I wanted to pretend like I didn't know what I was doing so that people would underestimate me. Now that everyone's, gotten a little bit better at the game and there isn't quite as much just dead money, I want to project that I'm the guy who is overqualified for the game and therefore have a better chance of just being table captain right out the gate, have a better chance of having that fear factor right out the gate, have a better chance of having the relationship shift where I'm the guy that they don't want to mess with, so they'll look for chips elsewhere, as opposed to being, just one of everyone else. It's a lot easier to win pots when people are afraid of you or intimidated by you, and it's a lot easier to win tournaments when you're winning a lot of pots uncontested. So the second benefit to dressing for the occasion, dressing for success, is that you communicate a message that you want to your opponents right away, and you can kind of adjust your play based on that. Now, just dressing the part doesn't necessarily cover all your bases. Because there are certain people who are more intuitive, who can really feel out what's going on and where you're at. And if they think you're over projecting and that like inside you don't have the same level of confidence to back up the outward image you're putting out there, they'll pick up on that. And that's why it's really important, if you can, to believe in yourself fully and to believe that what you're projecting is, you know, a representation of the core confidence and personal strength you have within. And just on the topic of table image and table captainship, I want to talk about a moment that happened on day 2 when things changed. Because for day 1, I was table captain clearly. And I was able to just kind of cruise through the day with little resistance, little competition. Granted, I was running well as well, which also serves to boost your fear factor, because people are like, that guy's getting really lucky, I don't want to play with him. And day 1 was pretty much a breeze because of that. Day 2, similar. You know, we had the bubble at the start of the day, and I was projecting this image that I didn't care about the bubble, that I didn't care about the money, so I was able to play a lot of hands on the bubble and get away with a lot. Got moved to a new table where there was someone I knew from the home games, and he'd been crushing the table. And the great thing was, when I got to that table, and I'm like, yo, hey, what's happening, man? He's like, oh, hey. And part of him was saying like, fuck, like you're here? All right, whatever. Still 8 guys I can get chips from. But when everyone else saw, oh man, he knows that guy, he must be as good as that guy. Instant communication. This guy knows what he's doing. And that is what you want to project when you're at the poker table. So now I have 2 things working in my favor that I know what I'm doing. Now later in the day, this is when things shifted. The best player in the tournament, the guy who had the best results, the best games, extremely talented player, Mike Leah, came to the table. And suddenly, my kind of allure, my kind of mystique, it shrank a good amount, because suddenly there was another guy who had even more mystique, even more presence about him. And I saw how things shifted, and everything was kind of all about Mike, and he came in, he started running the table. And honestly, with where I was at, with my chip stack and stuff, I was okay with that. And even I felt it a little bit. I'm like, oh man, like, Mike's at the table. One of the like 3 guys that I didn't want to see. Oh well, I'll let him run the show, and I'll just pick up what else is available, because I'm in a comfortable enough position. And I recognize there are plenty of other spots to get chips, so I don't need to butt heads with this guy to prove to him that like, yo, I can play your game too, you know? You could save that for the end of the tournament, because up until then, there's so much dead money to go after. Might as well just focus on that. And yeah, I mean, things went fine when Mike was there, but I definitely winded it back a bit. I dialed it back in a bit because my fear factor wasn't as high anymore. Some of that had dropped down, and therefore I had to adjust my play to the fact that I didn't have as much working for me with my table image. You know, if you believe that this isn't a thing, well, I mean, I get tons of questions from the Gripsters, and they say, you know, what do I do when a PokerStars Team Pro sits down at my table? I feel really uncomfortable. And that's just kind of the proof right there, is that we all feel it. We all feel it when someone sits down at the table who is extremely secure, extremely grounded, extremely confident in their abilities. And everyone kind of shifts a little bit and gives a little extra respect to this player. Remember when I was playing the LAPT, Nacho Barbero. You got him on the table, it's all about Nacho. It's the freaking Nacho show. Because he's, you know, he's animated, he's fun, he knows what he's doing, he's playing well, and that works so well to his advantage. Because when people are intimidated, when people are feeling uncomfortable, they're not going to play their best game. Often they get emotional, and when they're emotional, they're not acting rational. And when they're not acting rational, they're not going to make the best poker decisions, because they're thinking about all these extra factors that are actually irrelevant to the decision at hand. They're buying into the mystique of their opponent, over-assuming his abilities, over-assuming his hands, all these things like that. So, kind of a remedy for that, if you run into this situation, is that when like a really good player comes to your table, acknowledge their presence, be like, okay, you know, Dan the Granu's at my table, great. The dynamics of the table are going to change. Recognize that everyone else is going to change their play a little bit because he's there. But tell yourself what Antonio Esfandiari always says. Okay, he's just a poker player just like me. He gets 2 cards, I get 2 cards. He has his chip stack, I have my chip stack. And if I just acknowledge that and then play my best and play my game, odds are I'm going to do just fine. It's when we get into the mental games of thinking they can read our soul, thinking they can see through us, thinking they always have better cards, all those kind of things, that we start to play into their story and actually make it easier for them to win. So the important thing is to just acknowledge them and then depersonalize and recognize, you still have this strong confidence within yourself. You've worked hard on your game, you're very certain in your game, and the presence of another good player shouldn't lower that for you at all. Nor should you feel that you have to prove something to this player. This is where the ego can get involved. A big ego comes to the table. A Phil Hellmuth comes to the table, and your ego wants to show Phil's ego that you're just as strong as he is. So you try to do some excessive, elaborate, fancy, over-the-top stuff, and it's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. Because as Matt Jarvis's t-shirt said back at the 2010 final table, you want to play your A game, it's simple. No ego, no emotion, just poker. And when you're playing poker, when you're playing live poker, you want to keep your ego out of it, and you want to keep your emotions out of it. So you can just focus on making the best poker decisions that you can. And if you want to do the emotional stuff, you can do that after. So number 2, the benefit of creating a good table image is the message that you are projecting to the world, the first impression that you're giving to the world is going to have an impact, and you can decide what that message is going to be based on what you wear, and more than just what you wear, the way you carry yourself at the table, the way that you sit, the way that you look, the way you handle your cards, the way you handle your chips, the way you speak to people, the way you act between hands, the way you act on breaks. The more confident, calm, and secure you feel in yourself, the more you will project that to others. And for those who don't have a high level of self-confidence, their confidence is going to drop in the presence of someone who radiates that self-confidence, that self-certainty, that self-belief in their aura. So, what do you want to project to your table mates? What's going to be the most beneficial for getting you the result that you want? Okay, and number 3, dressing for success is all about comfort. It's all about comfort. I talked about this at the beginning. I chose this material because it feels really good against my skin. It breathes really well, and I think it looks kind of cool. Maybe I watched too many rap videos when I was in high school, but, I like my velour suits, at least for the first 10 years of my career. It made me feel good. It made me feel comfortable. And I'm like, I could easily sit at a poker table for 10 hours when I'm wearing this. I'm feeling good. If I'm wearing tight jeans, that's not going to work. If I'm wearing anything that's too tight, I'm not going to be feeling good. And if I'm wearing anything that's too loose, I might be feeling a little bit sloppy. So to have well-fitted clothes that fit your body well and make you feel good about yourself, that, show off your features, that's going to be a really beneficial thing to add to your arsenal of weapons, your arsenal of strategies. And it may sound like it's something small. It may sound like it's something small, it's something that's not that important. But trust me, when you get all the small things right, you get really big results. You can work on your game all you want, and it's an important thing to do. But in live poker, so much of the game is actually about the relationships between the players. And the cards, in a way, are a formality. It's very rare that we get to showdowns in live play. So if you can be projecting yourself as the guy who's got the goods, as the guy who knows what he's doing, as the guy that people don't want to tangle with, through your play, through what you say, and through what you wear, it's going to be a lot easier for you to still be there at the end of the day. So little things add up to large results. I guarantee you, if I had not been wearing my specific outfit for the occasion. I would not have brought my A game. People would have played me differently and results would have changed. Example, this year at the World Series of Poker, I decided to get away from my regular outfit because I'm like, I'm the happy guy, I'm the fun guy, I'm gonna wear my crazy colored shirts, no need for the hat, no need for the sunglasses. And I didn't get the same level of respect or the same level of intimidation that I had in previous years. And despite the fact I was being more honest with who I was, well, at the poker table, that isn't necessarily the best thing to do. So it's totally fine to have, a persona that you are at the poker table and an outfit that you wear at the poker table that complements that. And then, who you are away from the game, who you are in the real world, because they're two totally different games. The game of life and the game of poker are very different, and we often want to play different roles to be successful in each one, and we want to dress differently for each one because we want our dress to match what we're bringing to the game that day. I'm just trying to think if there's anything more that I want to say about table image in this video, but I think I pretty much covered it. This is it. What looks more intimidating? This guy, or this guy? And it's the same guy, but ask yourself, if you had to pick someone to go after, who would you be more likely to go after? And then based on that, dress appropriately. Do you want to project an image of intimidation and fear so people stay out of your way? Or do you want to project an image of easy, fun, happy-go-lucky so that people come after you? And one more thing I'd like to talk about actually, before I close this video, is the power of color, actually. I used to wear a white sweatsuit, which is a very welcoming color. Bright colors are very welcoming. They invite people in, they make people feel good, so they encourage people to engage with you, be it through conversation or through play, but it puts them in a happy mood. They also absorb a lot of energy. Whereas black dress and dark clothes have the opposite effect. They kind of block out other people's energy. They discourage people from engaging with you. Now, not an extreme case, but there is a subtle difference. And so if you want to have people kind of stay away from you, to have people not engage with you, go towards darker clothing, darker shades, or just go all black. If you want to welcome people in, if you enjoy that table talk, if you enjoy that conversation, or when you're out in the world, you like people to come approach you, wear those warm colors, wear those bright colors, maybe even wear those white colors. I think it's no surprise that our good friend and Gripster, Charlie Carroll, loves to wear the multicolored clothing with all the stuff going on, and that he loves to engage in table talk with his opponents. The way he dresses invites people to engage with him, and he knows how to play that game. Whereas when I'm playing poker, usually if it's a big buy-in event or something that I consider serious, I just kind of want to be in my zone. I don't really want to have to deal with the energies of other people too much, so I prefer to just go, with the all blacks, keep it simple, and keep it blocked out. But away from the table, give me as much color as possible because I want people to come and engage with me. And maybe, next time you're out in the world, just see who's engaging in more conversations. See if the people with the light colors are doing it more, the people with the dark colors are doing it more. And also see the kind of mood that goes with it. Generally, bright colors bring a bright mood and bring a lot of happiness, and dark colors bring more gloominess and more sadness. So even for your own day-to-day, when you're playing poker or not, you can choose clothes and stuff that evoke a certain mood, that evoke a certain feeling. And it may seem subtle, it may seem little, but trust me, it makes a big difference. Okay, so that's what I got to say about table image. Having an outfit, the benefit of having an outfit that you wear specifically for poker to A, help you get in a state, B, communicate a message to the world without saying anything, and C, allows you to be in a comfortable state so you be calm, relaxed, ready to play your A game. If you would like to get more information on table image, I have 3 other videos you can check out. The first is managing your online table image. The second is creating a strong table presence. And the third one is how to be the table captain and win more often. And all these little ingredients go into making that magic potion of victory. Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. I would love to hear what you guys use in your table image, what your power pieces are that help you feel good and help you play good. And if you've never had, a go-to poker outfit before, I encourage you to try it out and let me know what the results are after your next live tournament. If you want to know a few other people who like to dress for success and dress for the occasion, you can check out the One Drop Final Table, the year Dan Coleman won, and see how Dan Granu was dressed. You can check out Fedor Holtz when he got second in the Aria Super High Roller Bowl. I remember when Yevgeny Timoshenko made the final table of like the Legends of Poker, he was wearing a suit. And it's a pretty common thing that people dress for the occasion because it puts them in a good state, ready to play their best, feeling their best, and it usually leads to good things happening. So that is gonna do it for me. Look forward to your comments, look forward to your guys' feedback, and we will continue with the Game Changer series next week. Until then, you guys know what to do. Take what you learned, go out there, and get stacking. Peace.